might happen. Now we are in a tricky situation with both Ethereum and Bitcoin on the daily. Ethereum is more stable than Bitcoin because of the support it has. Bitcoin not so much. Now Ethereum, I'm going to start with the daily analysis, looking at the daily space, and the reasons why I find this moment to be very delicate in terms of direction. Ethereum is clearly holding the superior support line on the daily, the 1500. There's no doubt about that. It has been holding it. It has been also testing it very heavily, but it's also moved away from it. So it didn't stay like Bitcoin, putting pressure on this line constantly. It moved up and down along it, which is perfectly normal. That's what consolidations look like. If we look at the RSI and the stochastic RSI, they're not only tilted down, but the stochastic RSI is back into the normal range box, and generally that means it wants to go to the midline or close to it. The way, for instance, it happened here, I'm going to put a line. I think you guys know that we can have trend lines for the RSIs as well, and we can have support and resistance line as well, and divergence lines for the RSIs as well. I use divergence lines for the RSIs quite often when I am at a loss, when spotting a breakout, for instance. So this would be the, let me see, it's a little bit choppy. So the center line for, this is the 50 line for the RSI here. Ethereum is, no, this would be the best choice, yeah, because we have it a little bit pierced here, we have it touched here, we have it a little bit pierced here, but this would be the central line. So when it's back in the box, it would normally it tends to go towards the midline. Sometimes it doesn't reach it and it just reverses, other times it pierces it. We need to be very mindful of that, and most importantly, we need to be mindful of when this divergence breaks. So, for instance, if I'm to put a divergence line, I'll show you how I use divergence lines on RSIs, because I think they're super. So if we put, for instance, a divergence line here, because we didn't know, for instance, where it's going to go here, if the RSI hadn't crossed down the divergence line here, we wouldn't have had this swing. Momentum wouldn't have been lost to that extent. In the same way, you can use divergence lines for the up. For instance, let's say this thing happened and it's a little bit wavy here at the bottom, and it has, imagine these are candles, and it's a little bit wavy here, and you don't know which way it's going. It crosses here, you think it's gonna go up, it doesn't, you move it here, and then the second time it crosses, it's gonna go up. It's a little bit more spectacular to use the RSI on the shorter time frames, because the divergence on the shorter time frames, because there's more swings in it. But even on the daily, it's good to keep in mind that there is a trend in the RSI. And that trend has a divergence line, and this would be our, well, it's a little bit, no, because it's impractical like that. It would be too wide. This is how I would use it for this. Just a little, again, just a little tweak in our use of the same indicators that we have, because I don't like putting on too many indicators, because if the information is confusing, especially in these moments, I don't like indicators that would just get me to ask more questions rather than give me more answers. So here are the two RSIs, the stochastic and the normal RSI, you can see that they're both quite relatively close to the divergence line. So we're going to have our answer here on the day when the RSIs meet this divergence line. The stochastic will probably be the first one to reach it, and then we're going to see what happens in the coming days after that. Now, this is the daily trend that gives us a direction, and that direction is generally the best direction to take in following the trends, because the moves will be bigger. So once it crosses the 20 EMA, it's good to go into longs, because the moves in longs are bigger. You're looking for long entries. The moves are chunkier, so good, nicer profits. Of course, you can go against the trend as well, especially if you're watching your trades and if you're leaving your trades, your positions with on momentum. That is, you're shorting, you see the price action bottoming out, your stochastic indicators bottoming out, you take your profit and you go, and that's happy days. You've had your trading day, you've made your money. Anyways, here we are with Ethereum in this space, and this looks like a space. I'm gonna move this divergence line a little bit closer to reflect the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of sideways action. Why is this sideways action here? It's not an accident, of course. It's because we are right here on this divergence line and we're trying to break it. Now, Ethereum hasn't tried once to break that divergence line. It's been trying to break it 4 times. So if I am to look at how many times this line has been tested in comparison to how many times the bottom line has been tested, I'd say this divergence line is slightly more tested than the bottom line. I would tend to believe that there is a lift coming, maybe to the next level of 1800. So that 1780, 1800, around the edge of this. Even 1900 would be possible, but again, we need to break this in order to see this level happen, because there is a difference in percentages. I know it looks small, but there's a 7%, there's a 15%, an additional 15% lift. So from where we are right now, can we do a 16% lift, and then can we do another 15% lift after consolidation between the two? I don't see this shooting up 30% in one day. I don't find those moves realistic. They may happen, of course, because again, the market moves the way the market makers want to move the market. But that's how I see it going up. Now, of course, moving down is a little bit more predictable, because we have our levels for the down. The first level for the down that I would watch for would be the 55 here, because the 20 has been tested, but the 55 on the daily hasn't been tested at 1440. And then if the 55 on the daily, if the 55 EMA on the daily breaks, then I'm looking at, of course, the 1270, 1260 level being tested, which would be the next level of support. Does that mean that we're going to move into this space this weekend or on Friday? No, I just want to tell you that these are the levels for a possible lift or a possible drop. Let me just clone these, because sometimes I break patterns and I don't like it. No. Here it is. So these would be the levels that I see as an immediate action. Usually on Fridays, what we do is there is an expansion of the range that we've been holding during the week. So this is the range between the divergence line and this support line at 1510. You've heard me say, 100 times 1510 or 1513 this week, because this is not the support. This is the support that's not breaking. And what we might see on Friday is a spike outside of this divergence line, which is not a breakout, or a spike down, breaking temporarily the 1510 down to, let's say, 1470. There we go, to the previous bottom. So we might see this triangle space turned into a sideways channel with a larger range than the triangle. So this is what might happen on Friday, and generally both things happen. Friday pushes up, and then Saturday finishes that move up, and then Saturday pushes down, and then Sunday it ranges between them, and then Monday it continues the move that it started on Friday, officially, when the volume kicks in. And then that move finishes, that swing, whether it's a correction or an impulse, finishes, and then on Tuesday, the trading week, the new trading, how can I say, series, not the trading week, the trading series starts again. So what is the space that I'm looking at for the weekend? Let me put a nice rectangle, because I love drawing like this with the little brush, but it's not very neat.
Hey, curious, if you draw with the brush tool and you hold down shift, does it draw a straight line?
Now, I'm not sure if this would be control on a MacBook, right?
No, try shift. Try shift.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
It does. I think it's straighter. I think it looks slightly straighter, JD. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I know if you use the line tool, it'll make it horizontal. So I was curious if if you use that one, yeah.
Let me see.
You draw a line.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe it's space. Shift, maybe not. Maybe I'm lying.
Oh, I don't know what I did here. Command Z. Oh, go back. There we go. Perfect. Yes, I think it draws it a little bit straighter. So if I think that's it. I don't know if I get the where if I don't know if I'm pressing the shift button right here, because I don't know what. Yes, this is it. It's a little bit straighter. It corrects it, but it's not. It doesn't make it like a neat rectangle. But it's still handier than my squiggly rectangles. Okay. Command Z. I think a line disappeared, and this one. Okay. Now, okay. Let's put a rectangle here. This would be the space. Which would be very typical of Ethereum to move into this regular space and into this regular sideways consolidation. And this consolidation, if we're breaking up, is very healthy. The way we've had the consolidation here, we have the consolidation here. That increases the chances for a lift up, as long as we don't break this 1510 and we don't hold below it, which is where Bitcoin is very worryingly. Well, not worryingly, because again, I'm not worried. I can trade it down just as well. But in terms of the health of the market, I'd like the market to pump rather than come down one more step. I'd like to see a rally before the next step. So this would be the daily space that will. I'm gonna move this box to the 55 because it's quite close. So maybe we're gonna see the 1440 tested. So I'm gonna just keep it like this, because I'll be posting on Saturday and Sunday as well, tomorrow as well. And if I see any particular move, I'll adjust it. Okay. Now, in terms of our our structure, our 4-hour structure. So here is, let me see, Lee is here. Hi Lee, don't worry if you can't speak. Here is Ethereum structure, which is very, very similar to the structure that you showed me, your wedge. And XRP had a similar structure last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when. And I was caught shorting that same structure. And it retraced back into it and did another top here. So what happened here was this structure from an ascending wedge shifted into a sideways consolidation. So what we're looking at here, I'm gonna move this line a little bit higher. No, I'm gonna keep it like that because that would be it, with a slightly ascending trend line here. That this wonky bit. So this is what happened on XRP. I'm not saying this will happen to Ethereum or Bitcoins, though I have the horizontal levels that would match what's going on here. But what I'm trying to say is we need, after a breakout from a 4-hour structure. Now this was a break. It broke it, it consolidated, it back tested it, it started coming down, but what it's not doing is going anywhere. So that's what makes me a slightly slightly more inclined to think that this wants to do another lift up rather than a drop down, because it's staying here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4, 24 hours. So it's been here on the 4-hour with the 20 coming down over the 50, with the 10 coming down over the 50 MA. And it hasn't moved anywhere. So all of this 4-hour MA pressure hasn't managed to push it anywhere. So where is this going? That's why after seeing something like this happen along a line, now I haven't learned this from anybody, I just learned it myself from experience, and I apply it. I don't trade it, I trade my 15-minute and my 1-hour signals right now. But for the 4-hour structures, I keep in mind both options. So if my 15-minute shows me that it's bottomed out here, I will long it, and then if it tops out here, because these are 15-minute trades, I'll take my profit and come out and wait for the next entry. So that might happen to the wedge on Bitcoin as well. I had to reassess my structure for XRP and for Bitcoin and keep that in mind. So I'm saying that as well for your Ethereum structures, because it does look like a fabulous topping out formation. Yes, we're coming down, we broke it, we back tested it, but it also looks like a super nice bear trap to go in, because we are below the 50, everything's come down below the 50, we're pushing down, looks great, and then we reverse and we do another top, and we catch out the liquidations from the short. And where we are here, if we do another top here, it would be a 7% lift, and that would liquidate basically everybody that's from 10x upwards, and even some 10xers that don't have a good entry, if they've entered somewhere around here lower, as it broke, for instance, this low, they would be liquidated. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys, because when the market, I've been caught in situations where the market looked super dumpy and then it turned around. Now, what helped me then was checking out if we have our 3 levels up and our 3 levels down, which is really tricky right now because of all the choppiness. So here's our dear Ethereum. literally in a 2.4% range from this morning. Here we have this structure here, which is a railway track structure. Normally there should be two full body candles, but the fact that there are two candles like this, identical, I'm thinking of it as a railway track structure for reversal. Now when we see two candles like these, there is like these as in identical, red and green, they show a balance in the market, like a handover in the market between the buyers and the sellers. So the sellers have pushed it down, and then the buyers right now are meeting the same force, and they're going to reverse it. So that's how I would interpret this candle formation. I love reading candle formations. They don't always turn out because of the choppiness, but I'm looking to see if I can find another similar structure somewhere around here. This would also be what I consider a railway track formation. These two candles here, the red one and the green one, and it shows, okay, the buyers have taken control. The sellers are, the buyers have led it all the way up. The sellers want to take control, and the buyers here, by not meeting the same force, they give over control. And the buyers and the sellers are the same people, same market makers. But it's just this structure, I see it as a reversal structure. I don't generally look too much into which color comes first or whether one is engulfing or not, because it's crypto and it's very volatile, and most of the rules that I would look at as being more strict for Forex or other types of trading are a little bit more fluid for crypto. Here again, railway track formation, two basically very similar candles that are at the top or at the bottom of a swing, signaling reversal. So I think these two here look like that. To me, they look a lot like that. Now, I am slightly biased for this to go up because of what I'm seeing on the shorter time frames. So what I'm seeing on the shorter time frames is support being gained and momentum being lifted to the upside. Do I believe this is going to break up to 1900? No, I don't believe it, not now. But do I believe that this has chances of breaking out of this channel and up to the 1600 area to do a double top formation here? Yes, I believe that might be the issue, the case, and then from there do its 3 steps down, and this would be a beautiful M formation, and this M formation will become a head and shoulders formation, and we would have level 1, level 2, and possibly a level 3 for the retrace. But again, this is my, how can I say, in a perfect world, this is what I see it happening based on the levels of the breakout here. But we haven't moved. What we've done over the past 12 hours was gain control over the 55 on the 4 hour, which is a step forward. If we're looking at the 1 hour, we are struggling to hold the 20 EMA on the 4 hour. We still don't have that as our support, and then it would be great to see it lifting up for a lift. Because why am I looking at that? I'm looking at that, I'm watching that for XRP as well, because I'd love to gain an entry, a super entry for short. So at the moment I'm not in any trade, and I'm watching for Bitcoin and XRP to reach a top to enter a short, because I don't think this move has finished. I don't think this 1 hour or 15-minute swing and move has finished. I think this will lead to a double top. I checked some liquidity charts today, and there is liquidity in around 1600 for Ethereum, and low, so there's a lot less liquidity there, but considerable. There's huge liquidity around 1400, 1500. And if I were a market maker, I'll push it up, catch the liquidity there at the top, and then start selling at a premium all the way down. I'd be the one gaining loads. So moving into Friday, can we see on Friday a continuation of this lift up? Absolutely. I'm watching the 1630 level, and then I'm watching the 1510 level. If the 1510 level breaks, no need to tell you, the next level to watch is the 1440. Let me check with the daily. 1440, yes. So I'll be putting the same box on the 1 hour. I can't do it. I don't know why it doesn't work on this computer. There we go. So this would be the space I see it moving in line with the daily space, because right now the reason why we're not moving is because price action is not being controlled by the shorter time frames. It's being controlled by the bigger time frames that needs to make their move. There has to be something happening on the daily, and the daily space and the daily structure is the one controlling price action. Okay, these are let me remove this one. Okay, so these would be the extremes, the edges of the move. I'm looking again. I'm holding this channel and looking for a breakout. It is a good channel to trade upwards. It's not a super range. Sorry, I take that back. It's 6%. Bitcoin's is a lot stingier on profit. Yeah, I was like, oh. No, it's definitely worth it, JD. If you catch that breakout, jump on it. It's a 6% from where we are right now. Even if you are to leave 30% on the table, you'd still be making 40% profit. All I'm saying is, of course, when you see a candle, a 15-minute candle, let me show you the fake out here. So you see, you would consider this a breakout. I would consider this a breakout. I would see this candle. I would see this candle close above, and then this one again close above, and then when it does a little retrace, I would go in on the edge of the channel, and then I would put a stop loss a little bit below this. What would happen in this situation is, after two 15-minute candles consolidated above a trend line, price action shouldn't and mustn't go back in the same structure. If it does, that means it's going to do a swing in the opposite direction. So I would be jumping in after the second candle, because the second candle confirms it. I would be jumping in on a retracement candle. So I'd be giving it a little bit of time, because after two green candles, there for sure will be a little bit of a retracement. I'll be going in there and then putting a tight stop loss below this line, so that it continues its lift. If I get stop lossed out, then I reassess to see what's happening, and what we see is this is being broken. This tries again to break out, but it cannot close. This one comes back and back tests, and again I would be entering somewhere around here, and I would be putting a stop loss above. The previous high would be the best, because in these times of volatility, you would need to give it that space. But again, you don't have to. Again, you don't have to give it that space if you don't feel comfortable with that stop loss. Let me just check to see how much that would be. That would be a 25% stop loss to round it off. So it would be quite a hefty stop loss, but it would be protecting you from any fake out. This is again a super fake out because of the FOMC news. But in normal trading times, if you see a candle break, wait for the second one. If it consolidates, go into the third one and watch the third one go up and down and try to gauge where the lowest point is going to be, because that is the breakout time. There's no you can't plan it. Or you can put a stop loss, or you can put a limit order a little bit above this line and then put a stop loss a little bit below it, and again just follow it if it goes up. And if you get stop lossed out because you're not watching and you can't get in, so be it. There will be for sure a topping out formation here, and then you can catch the short, or you can catch the continuation up if it decides to break the previous high, if it decides to break out of this consolidation channel. So yes, Ethereum would give us that nice trade, and that would be again a double top or a head and shoulders formation. So I'd be mindful of that. Even though it is looking like it's turning, and the MAs, let me check the MAs on the bigger time frames. Let me check the MAs on the day. The day is still holding above the 20. The 5 is pushing down though, and this is holding on. I call this, it's hanging on like a grape, like it's literally like a grape. Look at this. So can it still go up and do another swing here? Yes, absolutely. But look if it doesn't turn up the 5 to turn it back into support, then this 5 will continue to push down and cross over the 10, and chances are it's going to get all the way down here to 1430, which is where our in and about where the channel is, 1440 with a spike, and that would be perfectly healthy if the 20 holds. So just be mindful of that lift. It might not go that far as well, depending on how momentum works, but that is definitely a trade that I would be looking to do, this lift here, because again it is 6%. Great profit, even with the 20% left on the table, or 30%. Okay, so this is it. It's like the story is quite simple, as much as it looks complicated, because it can go both ways. We can see which level breaks and wait for the back test, go in on it. I don't need to tell you guys because you know it. Okay. Do we have any divergences? We don't have any divergences on the 1 hour. Do we have any divergences on the 15-minute? No, maybe this one is hidden because it's the same level, but here, even though momentum dropped, the price has stayed higher. Nothing to write home about. It's yeah, it's very flat. But we do have here on the 15-minute the 20 crossing the 55 up, but after this kind of sideways, we have to see the breaking of a higher high to believe it. And again, if you feel more comfortable longing this, starting with half of your position so that you can put a stop loss below the previous low and add the extra position here, you could do that as well. Okay, that's it. So a nice range for Ethereum.
That was really good advice. I really enjoyed this.
Super. I'm happy you did.
I think waiting the what you mentioned about the top breakout, like if it goes up there, kind of like the plan of waiting for a couple green candles and then how you would place your stop losses and stuff. That was really informative.
Yes, that's
that.
Yeah, and you don't have to, like, I would be watching it. Breakout trades are really tricky because of the volatility associated to breakouts. Like, it can go up and down along these lines. But if we're looking, let me just see a nice. Ethereum does nice breakouts as well. Not all trading is scary. It has been very scary these past couple of days because of the sideways. I think maybe this would be, but it's really scary. I'm gonna look for another example, JD, tomorrow, and I'll post it for you to see how they work on those 15-minute candles, because that's what I think it's good to see and to have it in your mind. Okay, super. Now let's. Oh, that would be amazing if this saves. Save. Okay. Now the problem with this chart is somehow TradingView messed up my charts, and I couldn't retrieve this chart on any of my. Let me see if I can rename it. Daily chart pattern. Save. Okay, that would be amazing. And I couldn't retrieve it on my in my charts here. Every time I tried to load this, it just wouldn't load. So I'm so happy it's saved here, and I'm happy that maybe by renaming it, I get to keep it. It's not hard to remake, but there's a lot of work in here. So with Bitcoin, the situation is a little bit more grim, and I completely understand Lee's tendency to want to short rather than long where we are. We are in a very tight space here in this triangle. We're getting close to the apex now. Normally we've reached the swing, the higher swing here. I'm not taking this swing into account. I'm just taking this, and we have 1, 2, 3 touches to the top, and then 1, 2, 3 touches to the bottom would be needed before the breakout. And yes, it is a descending triangle, sorry, and it does tend to break downwards. I agree with you, and also I have 2 massive reasons to believe that this will go down. One of them is the invalidation line, the validation line here of the W structure is now invalidated. We are below this. If we close below this line and we have tomorrow another day in this range below the line, then this W formation is no longer accumulation. Then it just becomes a regular swing. And this becomes a head here, shoulders formation, or more conventionally, cup and a little handle, a reverse cup and handle, which is a spilling pattern. And now you see a nice, now for aesthetic reasons, you see why descending triangles have a tendency to break downwards, because of this reverse cup and handle structure that might also be pushing down as well. So we're not looking great for continuation to the upside. Also because of the stochastic RSI that's pushing down, and the MACD looks like it wants to push down a little bit more. I'm not a fan of this. Ethereum would be somewhere around here in terms of levels. Bitcoin's down here, and it's broken through the validation line. It's not looking good. But the problem is, if Bitcoin's going down, Ethereum's going down, and more probably Ethereum will go down more in percentages, because again, Bitcoin holds itself a little bit more, a little sturdier than the other coins. So the alts will go down a little bit more in percentages compared to Bitcoin. So overall, Bitcoin is not as strong on the daily as Ethereum, and I would be favoring a move down in the longer term. But the problem is there going to be a liquidity grab to the upside? Again, there is liquidity around the 21K area. I'm going to show you the targets that I put in this morning. Nothing's changed. There's no breakout, so it's the same chart. But one of my targets is 20,800, and that would be quite in line with those liquidity pools there. So there would be liquidity there from all the people that shorted here, all the short trades, short positions. Is the market, and the big question is the market gonna run for that liquidity or not before dropping? So I don't doubt that we're gonna drop another leg down, maybe to 14K, 13K, 10K. I have some intermediary levels, and I don't think that the drop will happen super quickly to 10K. It will happen in steps, the way it has happened before. We've had structures between those steps. So there are 3 big steps, but there are intermediary structures between them. It won't plummet there like that. So that's my view. That's my projection. Now I do anticipate a lift up because of the structures that we're in. The daily is looking again. I'll show you first where I have my down movement reasons. So first there's the daily with the invalidation line, the stochastic pushing down, and the EMAs not having crossed for this time compared to Ethereum that have the 20 and the 55 EMA crossing. The MAs look dreadful on the day. The 5 has crossed down. There's basically no space, nothing between these two holding price action at the moment. So could there be a drop to 19,800? Absolutely. Could there be a drop to the 50 MA, 19,500? Absolutely. Could there be a drop to the Bollinger at 18,500? Absolutely. This is the layout. And of course, we were all looking at the 24, 25K for the lift. If it were to move up, and we would have a turn up. So as you can see, the daily is looking dreadful for the lift. There's no particular reversal structure on the daily. On the 4 hourly, we have the support of the 5, and again we seem to have made a little W structure here. So if this is the peak formation level 1, and if this is the second level, and if this is the third level, and here we've made a bottom formation and now we're heading up, this might be reversal. What we do have on the 4 hour, in terms, that's why I'm favoring the lift short in the short run, because it looks like the 4 hour wants to have its go again at the top of the Bollinger, because it's been, I know yesterday it wicked up, but it's been pushing on the bottom line for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 hours. So it's been pushing down for this long, and the Bollingers, the way I have the image in my mind, they're like elastic bands. So the more pressure you put on one side, the more it's gonna reverse to the other side. Of course, you can't just trade every push down against the Bollinger as a possible reversal. There needs to be an overall 3 steps down, 3 steps up structure. And this FOMC wick is a spanner in the works, because it interferes with all of this pressure down, and this just took the pressure off with this wick. But it is there. It has taken pressure off. Now we just have the pressure that's been building up here. So that's why I believe the 4 hour would indicate a certain reversal. Also the 1 hour, which might make a fool out of me as we speak, is holding this support and resistance level. It has been doing so for a while, and it's done it with here with slightly increasing levels, slightly, I'm just saying slightly, which is generally a good signal. Now, what is the space that I anticipate Bitcoin to move in? Here is the wedge. The wedge slash the channel. It's slightly narrower towards the top compared to the bottom. It has been testing the bottom line of that wedge for a long time. Like, no doubt about it. It pierced through it once, twice, 3 times. Today, it actually it looked like it was gonna push down with a vengeance today. That's what it looked like, and then it reversed back in it. It's holding above that wedge line. It's holding above this local support and resistance at 19,979. Let's just call it the 20k level, because this is the psychological level. And it's also looking like it's moving between these lines, which are making a descending channel. Now, descending channels have a 70 to 30% chance to break to the upside. This would be my target. Short trade, absolutely short trade. It would be a double top situation here, and again it would be the final top here, and this would be the head, a shoulder, and another shoulder, and it would be a head and shoulders formation for a reversal to the downside. Now, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Like, we need to gain a little bit more support than we're displaying at the moment, because we are pushing down. Sydney is pushing down. I'm just gonna switch on Traders Reality to see what's happening here. So Sydney is pushing down, trying to meet this line. We haven't gained the pivot point today. We only tested it, and I think Sydney is gonna establish some range right now. Maybe the daily open will be tested again. Maybe this line is gonna break again. I don't know. To be honest. I don't know. And rather than telling you just some false information, the truth is I don't know. Again, I would be looking for this line to be broken, just to be technical. For instance, if you here's a nice breaking of the channel. So this one breaks it, then it doesn't hold it. It just holds above it, holds above it, holds above it. Don't enter, don't enter, don't enter. This one breaks it again. This one holds above it. Don't enter, don't enter. No entry here, because we're not holding below it. This one breaks it. This one holds below it. This one back tests it. Go in on this candle, hold it. You have a lower low, happy days, but your indicators are bottoming out. If you don't continue with a high volume spill, I would say wait for, and I do that. I wait to see what happens when the indicators bottom out. I know it's risky. When the indicators bottom out, I wait to see what happens on a 15-minute retrace and reversal. So I would be looking to see if the 15-minute reverses and holds this line. And then if the 15-minute doesn't hold this line and closes above this line as it did here, I would come out. And yes, I would have to take a very small loss here because I'm following this line closely. Let's say I entered here, but it would be a minimal loss compared to what being in this would entail, like going in here. If you're a shorter that started shorting here, you had one chance. Well, you had one chance to leave here. You had one chance to leave here. Ever since then, you haven't been given any other opportunity to meet your entry point, as you can see. Not unless Sydney decides to spill gloriously and it will give you a nice target. But there's another chance to enter here if we do close above this line, below this line. So this would be the example of, again, how to enter, how to monitor, and then how to exit if you if it shows signs of reversal. Okie dokie. So we have this space. I'm gonna put in a rectangle again because there are so many lines here that's really hard to follow. What I anticipate will happen tomorrow is a lift initially, and again, I'm responsible. I will take responsibility for my words if the market doesn't go my way. It is what it is. But this is what my my TA would indicate, and then I would actually take this all the way down to let me check again the daily. Okay, here I want to check the 200. What's on the daily? I think it's the 50. No, the 20. 19,800. There's no box. There. Okay, super. 19,800. Okay, so here it would be the space. Now for this massive sell-off, and it looks like we're breaking this line. For this massive sell-off to happen, we would need big volume. This could happen if it's a Friday move and we're going into Saturday with a sell in a sell trend. So if we're going into Saturday with a sell trend, this could break down and push down and be a massive sell-off. This could, by massive I mean again going back to the 19K levels. Which would be a 702 retracement for this swing. Again, nothing outside of the ordinary. It would be perfectly fine. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't go there. It would be very healthy. Any swing needs a correction, and this would be its correction. And from this correction, we would evaluate and see what's happening. But that's how I see it moving. Now, I'm not happy about this line in particular. I want to see if, but I am going to leave it like this because I've been keeping it like this all day, and I want to see what's going to happen here. If we retrace back into the channel, I will move it down to, let me see if I can maybe get a little bit more touch points. Down to here, possibly. But again, I don't want to make any adjustments now while things are happening. And I'm going to leave it like that to see if it's going to hold. Because if it doesn't hold, again, it will retrace back into this and we'll have our answer. This is it. This was the big thing that I wanted to show you. The big thing, the space, just the space that it's going to move between. 19,800, yeah. Now 19,800 would allow for 19. So this level, holding this level here, would allow for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas 19,800 here would allow for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna see where this decides to go. And again, I'll be looking at this line tomorrow and possibly adjusting it to suit the current price action. Let me just quickly check XRP. XRP is back. Sydney is back again, testing the pivot point. with 3 market maker candles down, bottoming out here. This at the moment is a topping out formation by the looks of it. So this might, I was waiting all day to see if this is going to give me a bigger entry point, a higher entry point, but it hasn't. So maybe I missed that boat, but I'm okay with that rather than be caught in some other how can I say, suspicious sideways. Okay, now before we finish, let's have a look at the DXY. The DXY looked like it had topped out on the 1 hour. It started coming down. Now it looks quite strong and wants to go up because it has already come to the bottom on the stochastic. On the 4 hour though, again, it looked like it wants to push down. It seemed like it's gonna cross down, but we do have a bearish divergence between the 2 peaks here. So we have to see what's going to happen here. The DXY will have a say. So depending on whether this continues tomorrow to the upside first, we're going to have our drop. If this switches to the downside and does its correction, then we're going to have our lift, gain some nice positions for the lift, and then move up. But I do, at the moment, the only thing that I could follow is a breaking of the previous low and a breaking of the previous high for a potential breakout either way, and the topping out formations for Ethereum and Bitcoin to gain an entry into a short, because I believe that the daily needs a short, the daily swing needs a correction. But I have to see how things, my signals line up, because that's why I'm staying out of trades for the moment. I just don't want to jump in when I don't have all my my yeses. It just looks very, very ropey. So I prefer to wait it out. Like it's a tiny space, and I want to see an edge being reached and then coming down. So that's what I want to see. That's it for me. That is it for me. Let's again, let's hope we'll have a nice range this weekend. Bitcoins will be a little bit smaller, 6% in total compared to Ethereum's 15%. So that would be, going into the weekend with a 15% range would be absolutely dreamy. If we see a lift and we gain a position for a drop, and then there's a bottoming out and then another lift, that would be amazing. Another thing that I want to say to you, watching the end of New York is on Friday is great to anticipate a lift on Saturday and to anticipate the move on Monday. So it's great to see that, because that move will continue. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. It's the last time I say it. Have a good time trading. Remember, if you feel tired or you wanna do something else this weekend, there will be plenty of trades Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Don't worry, take your time, enjoy yourselves, and take some mental rest, and mind yourselves, because the trades will keep coming. This will finish with a breakout to the upside or to the downside, with a correction probably to the downside, and from then onwards we'll be trading our normal ranges. It will end. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.